Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 24 September 2018, coming to you with a knife review on the TheApostleP channel. What you're looking at before the camera is the storied, legendary, time-honored Benchmade AFO the AFO2. So AFO stands for Armed Forces Only. And this is the latest version of the AFO, the 2. The first one was the 9050 AFO. Originally made by Benchmade under contract for Almar knives. And just to kind of walk you through the history, this knife originally started as what we now know as the Autoseri from Almar. Okay, Almar, never really a knife making company, rather a knife designer was Al, who has contracted various companies, some Japanese manufacturers, Gerber and Benchmade, to make his product line over the years. So the original Autoseri, which had a little different blade shape than this, was made under contract by Benchmade for Almar. Their licensing agreement expired. Benchmade went on to produce basically the same handle with the upper and lower self-guard, almost a Loveless style curvature of the handle, and the milled fluting in that aluminum handle. They went with what I think is just an absolutely gorgeous drawn swedge drop point blade. The Almar versions, you'll notice, have more of a bayonet grind, almost a spear point, and then the swedge is cut sharply, and then the spine where the flat grind breaks is about 50% of the width of the blade instead of 70% on the Benchmade. And then over the years, that same knife essentially has been contracted to Gerber. Now Gerber makes their own version, also issued to the military, as is the AFO2. The Gerber version is the Gerber AUT6 automatic knife. A very similar handle, but the blade grind's not nearly as elegant and functional as the Benchmade version. So the original Armed Forces Only, the 9050, had a little different blade style, almost looked more like a broad 710 blade, had a little tiny bit of recurve at the back, and they made a serrated model. Those blades were ATS 34, so the Japanese equivalent of the now used 154 CM. I believe those knives were tip up right hand only. So we've upgraded to American 154 CM, if that's an upgrade. We've gone to a 4-position clip. This is my personal knife, so it is oriented for a left-hand tip-up carry. And I believe the blade safety was added. A nebulous improvement, if you ask me. I'd rather not have it. But it is kind of in a good spot, I guess, if you were in a defense situation. Just moving your thumb up into the self-guard almost automatically lets you apply that lock. So in a tussle, you're not going to be able to close it even by pushing on the deployment button. Not a bad idea. Let's see, what else can I tell you? What other changes? I believe this skull crusher / glass breaker backspacer was added in one of the revisions. Still sporting the awesome Parkerized version of the Emerson style Benchmade clip. Pretty cool. So what are the dimensions? We have a 3 9/16 inch saber ground swedge drop point blade, 154 CM as I mentioned, with BK1 Benchmade coating, hard anodized gray 6061 T6 aluminum is your handle material. This does have a semi-open back, so in the field, if used by a military dude or just anybody out in the woods in the dirt and mud, can be flushed out with running water. The pivot is standard Benchmade side opening auto, milled washers in the aluminum frame instead of phosphor bronze, right on that blade surface, and it yields unbelievably fast and secure deployment and zero blade play. This particular offering does have the blade off center a little bit. If you recognize that from my knife sale a couple weeks ago, it's because this is the very knife. Okay, I ended up with this one and I'm not at all unhappy about that. What a thwack this thing makes. So 3 and 9/16 blade length, 130 thousandths is your blade stock. The handle is 4 15/16 inches long and 600 thousandths thick, so not quite 5/8 of an inch. The weight is 5.8 ounces, but man, it doesn't feel like it. It really, really doesn't. It's extremely light in hand. The balance point, the knife is a little butt heavy. Most guys will tell you, military guys, that a knife of this size, they want it to fall into their hand, and it kind of does. The balance point is right at the back of that index finger groove. Very hard to find. There it is. So it's about right here. Not a bad thing, I don't think. It makes the blade feel really, really light in hand. It's just a really, really neat all-purpose soldier blade, I think. Absolutely, it's designed to be used as a fighting knife. Primarily in a saber grip. It's really made for thrusting, slashing, and the like. Okay. I just hit my light standard. I hope it didn't hit the cutting edge, but it might have. Yeah, don't think so. By the way, why do we love 154 CM? Well, here's why. Here's why, because of the edge it takes. Let's see here. Yeah. It just takes a super fine edge. Easy enough to resharpen. So it's a great fighting knife. It's a great food knife. It's a great field knife. It's not going to be a hard use prying knife. It's a folder. That's what we have our K-bars for, don't we, boys? Yes, we do. It makes some beautiful noises. If you loosely hold the handle, it makes this beautiful ping sound. I think you can hear that. Man, does it thwack open. And so good in hand, in just any grip. The saber grip is a natural. The hammer grip is beautiful. The draw cut grip is beautiful. The reverse grip, absolutely beautiful. Although the glass breaker would certainly crush a skull, it fits perfectly into that first knuckle of the thumb of the reverse grip. An overhand pinch, absolutely great. There is that vertical draw cut. Everything just works well. It's no wonder this knife, after, I don't know, 20 years or so, in its various revisions, is still issued to our military, all branches of the service. This particular knife you're looking at is the 9051 BK-1601. So this was a limited production by Benchmade with the gray hard anodized aluminum handle and the black blade. Generally, these are going to come either drop point or tanto, plain edge or partially serrated, satin or black coated, and then they're going to have a black handle. So this 1601 is the gray handled version. Okay. Here's a dirty little secret in the auto knife world. And if you hang with knife guys very long, especially knife guys who are experienced in automatic knives over years, okay, guys with experience with auto knives, and you say, who makes the best autos? Not custom. And you know, everybody assumes that the answer is going to be Microtech. But guys who have actually owned lots of auto knives in their lives know that the answer, and for a lot less money, is Benchmade. They do make the best side folding and out the front automatics. When we're talking about reliability of mechanism, ease of service, and all that stuff, Benchmade just makes a better, more usable, more durable knife than Microtech. Protech's kind of a niche manufacturer. Certainly in this genre, the soldier blade, I'm not sure Protech's really much of a player. Most of their knives are more for you know, the civilian user and collector. But you know, if you go through a military unit and look at all the auto knives that are being carried, they're going to be Benchmades. Even in the realm of special operations, they're going to be Benchmades. Now, lots of the special ops guys are going to have Microtechs in their personal collections, but they ain't carrying them when they're sleeping with their buddies. And you military guys know why. Honorable though our soldiers are, if you leave your blade unattended, shame on you, because it's probably going to belong to one of your brothers. Especially if it's a $400 Microtech. Normally these are going to ship the AFO2 with Benchmade's MOLLE capable ballistic nylon pouch. This knife didn't come to me with one, but I believe that's standard equipment if you buy it new from a retailer. Same pouch that the Adamas and the Infidel use, which is a pretty nice piece of work. So not only do we have an unbelievably sound automatic mechanism, the blade geometry is super fine. Again, just over an 1/8 inch of stock thickness with a really high grind. Comes to a pretty thin dimension behind the edge. That is a 17 degrees per side secondary bevel with a little kiss at 20 for a micro bevel, just to give it some stability. And you saw the cutting performance, it's amazing. You're still going to have enough strength forward to the tip, you know, to stab and twist in any soft tissue, maybe with a rib or two, impeding your progress. But you know, this is not a knife that's going to be spending most of its life being stabbed into soft tissue of a human. It's probably going to spend most of its life in the kit of a soldier, just doing things he needs to do every day that require a cutting tool. And man, what a cutting tool it is. I carried this for about a week. I really had a hard time taking it out of my pocket and carrying something else. You know, for breaking down boxes, opening boxes, pretty hard to beat. And this has seen some pretty significant cardboard duty in a couple weeks, and the old BK1 coating, much maligned though it is, seems to be holding up pretty well. Kind of come in close and give you a trip down the blade here. Just beautiful, isn't it? Another, I believe, revision in the AFO2 from the original form is the addition of that monolock type lockup adjustment. The open stop pin is that hex pin. I'm not sure the light is helping me catch that for you. There you go. So it's rotatable, so you can make the button lock engage at different depths depending on how you like it. I haven't touched this one. It seems to be about right. Let's see. There's the locked protrusion of the button just above flush. So I don't know. It's certainly not to the end of its stroke when it's locked open. You can see the button protrudes a lot more when the knife is closed than it does when it's locked open. But it gives you that adjustment feature if you have any wear in that lockup over time. Come out a little bit, okay. Just a superb knife. Certainly one, guys, if you're into autos at all and you don't own one of these, it's worth being in your Benchmade collection because it does have some pretty long history. And here's another interesting kind of thing. I was sort of looking up derivatives of the original Almar design, and doggone it if Blade HQ didn't have a listing, a modern one, although these knives are out of stock. It seems to be a current listing within the last couple of years. The Almar Auto Serie, and it says right in the ad copy, or the listing copy, that they are produced under contract by Benchmade. So I don't know if those blades maybe are ground in Sakai City, and then Benchmade is doing the rest of the assembly. I'm not sure how that's working, but kind of cool. The AFO has survived in the Benchmade product line for 20 years or so, and it's come full circle. The original source of the design that became the Benchmade AFO, the Auto Serie, is sort of back in the Benchmade factory, so that's kind of neat. Super cool soldier blade. You know the guys love it because it comes to the American Soldier under 3 different brands: Almar, Gerber, and Benchmade. And of course, of the 3, this is my favorite by far. What an awesome blade. Just thought you'd like to see it, and if you don't own one, they're not too darn expensive. If I've tripped your trigger at all, you know, they're in the $225 to $240 range, depending on a blade configuration and finish. Certainly less than a Microtech equivalent would be, and probably a better knife with standard hardware. So that's it for this one. The Benchmade AFO. What a knife. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word and the armed forces only Benchmade are sharp.